Thursday. I wanted to say hi and just say that I hope wherever you are safe and well, and just to let you know what's going on this week, and also to talk a little bit about something that came up last week. I'm sure some of you may have thought last week that I was, despairing enough to be like, whatever, that's it, and that I was, feeling low. And last week I was feeling low. I admit that, but I'm a survivor. I'm a thriver, But we all have to be able to vent that out. And last week, after my youngest sister had watched the video, she said, sometimes you just need to get it out. And I thought, or I'm paraphrasing, I apologize if I'm not giving the quote the exact same way, but I thought, wow, she's right. And I know that. I say that to other people, and I say that of myself. Sometimes you just need to get it out. And last week, I did just need to say I couldn't, fake my way through and make it be like that I didn't feel that way, and that I don't still feel that way, because I do feel that way. I think I've reached a place at least right this minute, that in my medical life, that I need to be just fully awake in what I expect of people. So little of what has happened in the last 20 years or over 20 years, I guess, has been direct or easy. Like, I think most of my appointments involve now I'm exaggerating when I say this, but most of my appointments involve well, you either have a grade A zippity zip or a grade Z dippity do, and so it's like, and then it's like, well, which is it? It's like, well, the treatment's almost the same, so I want the direct answer. I want to know. And so, like, the closest I've come to that in recent years is when I sliced my finger open 2 Thanksgivings ago, and I walked in and they were like, wow, you sliced your finger open, you need stitches and a tetanus shot. So I was like, okay. And I think the adrenaline rush had me laughing. I was like, this is insane, this is crazy town, but go ahead, stitch up my hand. And my daughter, who was with me, was, seriously calm, and I was losing my mind. I was. And just the whole experience of it. I couldn't believe I did it. But then I couldn't believe that it was like, oh my gosh, they're telling me what has to happen. There's no grade A to B. There's no weirdness. I mean, there was weirdness, but it was like, wow, I was freaking out. I'm not gonna lie. So a lot of my medical life resides in the land of vague town. Okay? And anyone living with a chronic illness can tell you that. Correction. Some chronic illnesses, it's pretty direct. People that live with diabetes, you check your sugar, you do what you have to do. Maybe you take insulin. People that live with cancer, there are treatments. It's this. They can grade it most of the time, I think, and tell you what the treatment might be. And there may be some, uncertainty, obviously, with all of this, but it's sort of a more direct approach than living with something like CRPS, which is sort of, we can try this, or maybe not, or don't do this, but maybe this will happen. And so we live in the land of gray. There's no one path for every person, which is another thing. If you polled the people in my group, I don't think any of us is doing the same kind of treatment, or not all of us, you know what I mean? And it's sort of a hodgepodge. And even my own medicine, which is down to 2 medications. I take the 3rd for something else related to the CRPS, but it's like, but my cocktail mix is not someone else's cocktail mix. And so it's a hodgepodge. It is. It's a hodgepodge. And we just have to go with it. And so whenever we go to the doctor, it's sort of like a, well, yeah, you're experiencing, I can speak, experiencing, you know, burning and clawing, and it could be something in your neck, but we could just do injections in your neck. And I don't like the vague. It actually really upsets me. It irks me. And so I guess last week I just wanted to go in and have them poke around and be like, you know what, this feels like such and such. And have them say, and this is what we do for such and such. And have you make the choice based on whether you want the treatment for such and such, or if you were just like, you know what, I know what it is now. I can live with that. But no, I got well, if you want. I want a lot of things, and living in the land of vague is not one of them. So yeah, so sometimes you just have to get it out, and I would highly encourage you to get it out and to vent and not to hold in, especially when you're living with pain. Do not make it okay for everybody else. You know, if you're in pain, and I do that a lot. I don't like to say, well, yeah, I feel like feel like crap. And yesterday was a weird day. When my daughter was done with her work day, she was exhausted. I was exhausted. And I hadn't done anything. And I was thinking about taking a walk. And so I said to my daughter, well, I'm pretty tired, but I feel like I need to take a walk. And she said, I'll go with you. So we went out, and she always makes me laugh. And we were walking around, and I have this vision, which I'm not going to get into so nobody steals it from me, but I have this vision of reopening New York City with a massive dance number. It would be amazing. Michael, that's about you. So I have to talk to my mentor, but I have this grand, like, musical in a movie type of thing. And so we were kind of singing and dancing it, or not dancing it, but like singing, like imagining what the dancing would be. And sometimes when I'm walking with my family, like we'll start singing, and then I'm like, wouldn't it be amazing if like dancers came flying out and, started dancing? And come on, who doesn't think that? Like, haven't you ever really wanted to like just start singing in the street or in your house? But in the street is more, because in your house you can sing, who cares? In the street, that's a lot. I had to stop for a second because they're doing construction outside, but so in the street would be a different thing. And I always think back to that birthday that I had a few years ago, when my sister and my nieces were visiting, and they're my older nieces, and we were out at a local restaurant celebrating my birthday, and Best Song Ever by One Direction came on. I love that song. And I always think, like, One Direction got me through withdrawal from the morphine pump. But anyway, so I have a fondness for One Direction. No matter what anybody says, I'm 47 years old. I don't care. So we were listening to it, and I just started singing it. And I've told the story before, but it's one of my favorite memories. And then my nieces started singing it. Like, we were laughing, and everybody was awkward, but I just was singing it. And then the bartender was like, yes, and raised it up. And then my daughter was joining in, and my sister, and it was amazing, because then everybody was singing. And I thought, this is a dream scenario. One person starts singing and dancing, and then everybody joins in, and then we're all dancing down the street. And so that is part of my grand scheme for the major reopening of New York City when it's safe. And I know that won't happen like that, but I mean, come on. Wherever you live, just imagine, you jump out of your house and you just start singing your favorite song. And anyway, so that's where we were. But as we were walking and talking and enjoying this walk, it got me out of myself, because I was having a day, like, I felt like I was going to jump out of my skin, and I couldn't stop moving. And I'm sorry to go from like musical theater to nerve pain, but that's where I was, and my legs and my foot, and it's just, it's been bad. So getting out in the fresh air, I felt like I didn't want to panic, and I start to panic when I feel like that. And today, I'm tired, and I have no right to be tired but that's the fatigue of living with this, and also I think from not doing anything and just being home and not being out very much, and just changing our normal activity levels, but and not sleeping well. I did sleep last night though, and at least a few hours, I think, and I slept in a bit today, but anyway, but that's how I felt, and I'll probably go out for another walk today because I just feel like the fresh air helped me get out of my head, and helps me forget the pain a little bit. And my right foot is a mess, and I'm starting to have pain, or I've noticed it more on the outside of my foot, and I don't want to ignore that, or I don't know if I'm modifying the way I step, because I've been down that road with my left foot, and that does not lead to anything good. So that's where we are. But yeah, so, and I think she felt bad when I told her that, because I was thanking her for the walk and being out with me, and we just were powering on, and she said, well, I'm glad you told me, and I hate unloading that on her or my husband, but especially on her, and I think she sees more than I think she sees. But anyway, it was good to be outside. And so sometimes you have to get it out. Sometimes you have to just say, you know what, this is a crap day. It's a bad day at work. It's a bad day at home. It's a bad day at school. And release it from your head, because sometimes it helps. And I don't think in all these years, my doctors even argued over the arachnoiditis, and they argue over everything. And let me correct myself. Another direct appointment was when I went about my foot. He examined it. It's obvious if you look at my foot, the bones are blank, 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 up. Anyway, but then he was able to see the X-ray, and he's like, "This is what it is." So it was like, "Wow, this is what this feels like." Going to the doctor and being told, "You have X. We can do Y." And before, earlier in the video, when I said that people with other illnesses don't have uncertainty, that's not true. I didn't mean it like that. People that live with any illness, there's uncertainty involved. There's unsure pathways, or which way you're going to treat it. I only meant that with with CRPS, I didn't even have a test. Even with my lupus, I went in, my hands were like baseball mitts, and I know the angle is very awkward every time I raise my arms. I'm looking at myself in the camera and it's freaking me out. Anyway, sorry, correct, forget that. But when I went for my lupus, my blood tests were all over the place, and not exactly the way she would have wanted them to be direct and say, "Oh, you definitely have." She was basing it on the whole picture. And so my blood tests have been freakadelic for forever. And she based it on the whole story, and the whole story was what it was at the time. And so I feel like I've been, since 1998, just most of the time navigating without a map in Vague Town, and I hate that. And I've gotten used to it, but I'm older now. I'm in this too long, and I desperately want one of these doctors to say, "You know what? This is the medication that's going to take all of that nerve pain away. This is going to take the burn. This is going to help you sleep. This is going to, this is going to be the miracle of miracles." It's not going to happen. I know that. But it doesn't make me want it less, And because I'm so high functioning, I want it more for my fellow CRPS people, my friends, the people that I care so much about, who are battling everything, from immobility to, swollen joints. And it hurts. It physically hurts me to know that they're going through that. And that there is no one-size-fits-all treatment for any of this crap. You know what I mean? And so it's like, it's infuriating. But that's where we are. I'm going to leave it there because I could go on and on. You know it and I know it. So my shirt this week is from Wildfang, and I love it. It's one of my favorite shirts ever, and I thought I lost it at some point in the mess that is my wardrobe space. But I found it and I was so happy. So I like this shirt. I felt like I needed to wear it today. Give up, give hell, you know. I will always do that as much as I can. I hope I can advocate for people the way I wish, not counting family, that other people could have advocated for me when I was going through all this in the beginning. And so I try to be there for the people that are getting newly diagnosed, because so much was unknown when I got mine, and I hated that. And get it out. You can leave a message, you can direct message me, get it out. Say what you have to say how you feel, because it's important. And even if you don't have CRPS, if you're frustrated with something, if you're upset about something, get it out, because it's important. You matter, your feelings matter, where you are matters, and I hope you all know that. And I am so grateful that you come every week. Wow, this video is so long now. It's 2 parts. It's so long. I am grateful for you. I hope you have a low pain, no pain, no aggravation, low aggravation weekend, because you deserve it. And I will see you tomorrow via the blog, and see you next week for a video. Okay? Take care. Bye.